Hello fellow gardeners, welcome back to the Humus Heritage, where we dig deep into the soil wisdom that transforms ordinary gardens into thriving ecosystems. If you've been wrestling with a traditional compost pile, dealing with the back-breaking turning, the mysterious smells wafting across your yard, or the disappointing reality that your black gold never quite lives up to the hype, then today's guide is going to revolutionize your entire approach to soil health. We're talking about worm towers, a brilliantly simple system that delivers nutrients directly where your plants need them most, without any of the drama that comes with conventional composting. Let's explore why this underground gardening secret might just become your most powerful tool for creating soil that practically grows plants on its own. The composting conundrum, when botzen, why we're all struggling. Traditional composting has been sold to us as the ultimate solution for sustainable gardening, but let's be honest about what it actually demands from us. That compost pile sitting in the corner of your yard requires constant attention, regular turning to maintain proper aeration, and a delicate balance of green and brown materials that feels more like chemistry class than gardening. The smell that emanates during the breakdown process can strain relationships with neighbors, and let's not even talk about the raccoons, rats, and flies that consider your compost pile a five-star buffet. Beyond the unpleasantness, there's the sheer physicality of it all, hefting pitchforks full of decomposing material, turning heavy piles in the summer heat, and then wheelbarrowing the finished product across your garden when it's finally ready. The space requirements alone make traditional composting impractical for many gardeners. A properly functioning compost system really needs multiple bins or piles to work efficiently. One for fresh material, one for actively decomposing matter, and one for finished compost. If you're working with a small urban lot or trying to maximize every square foot of growing space, dedicating that much real estate to composting feels like a significant sacrifice. Add to this the time investment. Most compost piles take 6 months to 2 years to produce usable material, and you start to wonder if there's a better way. Spoiler alert, there absolutely is, and it's been quietly transforming gardens without any of the fanfare that traditional composting receives. Unveiling the worm tower. Underground magic at work. A worm tower is deceptively simple in design but remarkably sophisticated in function. Picture this: a perforated tube, typically made from PVC pipe or a repurposed bucket with the bottom removed, buried vertically in your garden bed with just a few inches protruding above the soil surface. This unassuming structure becomes a living nutrient factory where composting worms, primarily red wigglers, nature's most efficient decomposers, take up residence and do what they do best: transform organic waste into the richest fertilizer known to gardening. Here's where the magic happens. Unlike traditional composting where you're creating nutrients in one location and then transporting them to your plants, worm towers integrate the entire process directly into your growing beds. You drop kitchen scraps into the tower, the worms consume and digest this material, and as they move freely through the perforations in the tower walls, they deposit their castings and liquid worm tea directly into the root zone of surrounding plants. It's like having a team of microscopic farmers working around the clock, delivering a steady stream of perfectly balanced nutrition exactly where your vegetables, flowers, and herbs need it most. The benefits extend far beyond simple nutrient delivery. As worms travel between the tower and the surrounding soil, their constant burrowing creates an intricate network of channels that naturally aerates your garden bed. This improved soil structure enhances root penetration, allows better water infiltration during irrigation or rainfall, and improves drainage to prevent waterlogging. The worm castings themselves are extraordinary, containing beneficial microbes, enzymes, and plant growth hormones in concentrations that synthetic fertilizers simply cannot match. You know, this isn't just about feeding your plants, it's really about creating a living soil ecosystem that becomes more fertile and self-sustaining with each passing season. So, why do worm towers win? It's honestly like an efficiency revolution. The contrast between worm towers and traditional composting becomes pretty stark when you examine the actual work involved. With a worm tower, your maintenance routine really just consists of occasionally adding kitchen scraps to the tower and making sure the system doesn't dry out completely. That's it. No turning, no monitoring of temperature, no careful layering of materials, and, well, no concerns about achieving the perfect carbon-to-nitrogen ratio. The worms handle all the complex biochemistry automatically, processing waste at a rate that far exceeds traditional decomposition. While a conventional compost pile might take 8 months to a year to produce usable material, worms can transform fresh scraps into nutrient-rich castings in just 2 to 3 months. The space-saving design makes worm towers particularly attractive for gardeners working with limited square footage. A single 4-inch diameter PVC pipe buried 18 inches deep occupies less than half a square foot of garden space, yet influences soil quality in a 3-foot radius around it. This means you can strategically place towers throughout your garden beds, raised planters, or even large containers, creating multiple nutrient hotspots without sacrificing growing area. For urban gardeners, apartment dwellers with balcony gardens, or anyone maximizing production in a small footprint, this efficiency is transformative. The superior soil health generated by worm towers represents their most compelling advantage. The castings produced by composting worms contain nutrients in forms that plants can absorb immediately, unlike synthetic fertilizers that can leach away or create salt buildup in soil. These castings also introduce beneficial bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms that protect plant roots from disease, improve nutrient uptake, and enhance overall plant vigor. The continuous, slow-release nature of nutrient delivery means your plants never experience the feast or famine cycles that come from periodic fertilizer applications. Instead, they enjoy steady, consistent nutrition that supports robust growth from seedling to harvest. Building your secret weapon, a practical guide. Creating your first worm tower requires minimal investment and can be accomplished in less than an hour with basic tools. Start with a 4-inch diameter PVC pipe, cut to approximately 24 inches in length, though you can adjust this based on your garden bed depth. Using a 3/8-inch drill bit, create holes throughout the pipe, spacing them about 2 inches apart in a random pattern. These perforations allow worms to enter and exit, while keeping the structural integrity of the tower intact. Dig a hole in your garden bed approximately 18 inches deep, ensuring the surrounding soil is reasonably loose and moist to encourage worm colonization. Insert the pipe so that 4 to 6 inches remain above the soil surface. This protruding section prevents rain from flooding the tower and makes it easy to add food scraps throughout the growing season. Cap the top with a small lid or piece of wood to keep out rain and discourage flies. Some gardeners use repurposed plastic containers like yogurt tubs or small plant pots, which work perfectly as removable covers. Now comes the crucial step: introducing your worm population and establishing the right environment for them to thrive. Purchase red wiggler worms from a reputable supplier. You'll need roughly half a pound to 1 pound of worms per tower initially. Create a bedding layer in the bottom of your tower using shredded newspaper, coconut coir, or aged compost mixed with a handful of garden soil. Moisten this bedding until it's as damp as a wrung-out sponge, then add your worms and cover them with a thin layer of food scraps. Good starter foods include vegetable peelings, fruit scraps, avoid citrus initially, coffee grounds and crushed eggshells. Avoid meat, dairy, oils, and excessive amounts of onions or garlic, as these can create odor problems and may repel worms. The most common pitfall in worm tower management is overfeeding, which leads to anaerobic conditions, bad smells, and worm die-off. So, it's best to start conservatively, adding just a cup or two of scraps weekly for the first month while your worm population establishes itself. As the colony grows and reproduces, you can gradually increase feeding. Monitor moisture levels, particularly during hot, dry weather. The bedding and soil around your tower should remain consistently moist, but never waterlogged. If you notice food scraps aren't being processed quickly, reduce feeding amounts until you find the sweet spot for your particular system and climate. Revolutionize your garden, the long-term transformation. Gardeners who implement worm towers consistently report remarkable improvements in plant health and productivity within a single growing season. Vegetables planted near worm towers display deeper green foliage, more vigorous growth, and noticeably increased yields compared to plants in untreated areas of the same garden. So, tomatoes develop more extensive root systems and produce more fruit, leafy greens grow faster and come out more tender, and even those finicky plants like peppers, well, they really thrive in the nutrient-rich environment surrounding an active worm tower. And these aren't just marginal improvements. Many gardeners actually see productivity increases of about 30 to 50% in the immediate vicinity of their towers. The long-term benefits really go way beyond just simple nutrient enrichment and move into the realm of regenerative soil building. Each season, the soil around your worm towers becomes more and more alive with beneficial organisms, which improves its structure, water-holding capacity, and even its disease-suppressive properties. This, in turn, creates a positive feedback loop where healthier soil supports healthier plants, and those plants feed more organic matter right back into the system. Over time, you're not just maintaining soil fertility, you're actively improving it, building true humus that stores carbon, retains moisture through drought, and requires fewer external inputs each year. Getting started with your own worm tower system is refreshingly straightforward. Begin with 1 or 2 towers placed strategically in your most productive garden beds, where you can easily observe the results and learn the rhythm of feeding and maintenance. As you gain confidence and see the results firsthand, you can expand your system by adding more towers throughout your garden. Share your success with fellow gardeners. Worm towers are one of those rare gardening techniques that genuinely delivers on its promises, and honestly, spreading this knowledge helps build more resilient, productive gardens throughout your community. If you found this guide valuable and you're ready to transform your garden soil from ordinary to extraordinary, make sure you subscribe to the Humus Heritage channel for more soil building wisdom and sustainable gardening techniques. Go ahead and hit that like button, share this video with your gardening friends who are still wrestling with traditional compost piles, and hey, drop a comment below telling us about your experiences with worm towers or vermicomposting. Together, we're building a community of gardeners who understand that the secret to amazing plants starts beneath our feet. Happy gardening, and may your soil always be alive and thriving.